we're going to do it. We have to talk about this guy. There is a lot of media attention regarding him because, we know who his dad is. This is LeBron James Jr. This is Bronny James, a guy that we didn't even know was going to play this season. Leave obviously had the heart condition to begin the year, came in, and the numbers, they're not going to wow you. Nobody's going to lie about that. But this is LeBron James's son. He's going to have a lot of attention. So let's just start with some of the basics. He's almost 20. He's 6'2". He's a guard. He obviously doesn't have his dad's size. Played 19 minutes a game, low usage player, got up a lot of threes, very inefficient, 44% field goal percentage, good steal rate. Didn't hit his free throws, much like his dad as well. Let's just get to the basic part of it. If his name was not LeBron James Jr., would he be in discussion to be drafted at all?
No, but I think there wouldn't be much of an issue put forth of him returning to school. I think likely he would have just returned to school, maybe hit the transfer portal, and no one would have thought about it. So I think that there's this unfair pressure of, okay, well, he was expected to be this one and done put on him, and pro basketball may suit his strengths better than what USC did, because USC was a dumpster fire. It really was. They had talented guards, Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier, dominating the ball. So, of course, he was going to play off ball. But if you're 6'2" and you're an off ball guard who has a bad shooting year, it really doesn't boost your stock whatsoever. And that's what he dealt with. So to answer your question succinctly, probably not. But I will at least posit this thought of sometimes the name is going to get you a chance, and then that game will get you your second chance. So at the Combine, I was there, and I would say he wasn't great by any means, but you could see the way he belonged because athletically he's got the twitchiness, even if he doesn't have the size. He's got the defensive twitchiness that gives him a chance to pressure the ball, but he has to become an excellent defender to make that work because he doesn't have the size to be a wing defender. He's an on-ball defender that's kind of going to take the pest role. And then he went 4 of 10 shooting the ball and made right plays, had a couple turnovers that were just kind of something I would chalk up to not having played with teammates before. He threw a ball over the top of someone who went for a lob. But it was a good look, and he missed good shots. Like the ones he made were good shots. The one he missed were good shots. And in terms of who played well at the Combine, I wouldn't say he would be at the top of the list, even though he was on some. That was just because of the name. But he was someone who I thought played better than I kind of anticipated he would. And if you were to rank the players that played at the Combine, he would not be dead last whatsoever. And some of the players that played very poorly, there's no negatives being shown their way because their names aren't LeBron James Jr. So I'll at least defend him in that capacity. I probably still wouldn't draft him, but I wouldn't be as appalled if he's drafted as I would have been prior to the Combine.
There's no chance he's not getting drafted, is there? Like someone is going to draft him.
I think so. I feel badly for him though, because now no matter what happens, he could be a team could actually like him. And everyone's going to say, oh, now they're just hoping to get LeBron. And maybe there's some truth to that. But it kind of diminishes the fact that, his dreams to play pro basketball, and he's got this unfair thing. So I guess I have a soft spot for him in that regard. But, I do think he finds his name picked in the second round.
There's going to be someone that's definitely commenting or listening and saying to this, don't feel sorry for him. Look at how much money he's got. That's really not the point. Like the guy went through a life-changing, life-threatening situation early this season, and I'm sure it's not easy having your name chucked out in the media like we're doing now. Every 5 minutes someone's talking great about you, talking bad about you, telling you don't deserve to be where you are. It gets to anybody, no matter how much money you're rubbing together at the end of the day. The comps for Bronny I've heard thrown around, it's like those defensive guards, Pat Beverly, DeAnthony Melton types. Let's not sort of ignore that because those are guys who can play some point guard. Can Bronny ever do that, or is he just going to be like an undersized defensive guard who can't ever really sort of run an offense and with dribbling or passing or decision making?
It's too early to tell because you'd have to give him repetitions, and I don't know what level he'd be getting the repetitions at. I don't think it would be in the NBA. If he were to do it in the G League, that would be something. So I do think he's likely a 2 defensively. But I mean, there was good decisions made. I just think it's different being a full-time point guard than it is kind of demonstrating the ability to make good decisions. And the fact that he played with 2 guards that were as heralded as they were in Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier made it hard for him to demonstrate the point guard playmaking as opposed to just supplementary ball handling capacities. So I think he is an undersized too. And he would take a kind of a rehabilitation year of building the game from the point guard standpoint in the G League in order to have any legitimacy to him playing the one in the future.
Last thing on Bronny, just a name that just came to my head of the guy that found himself elevated off a two-way into a starting role to end this season. Keon Ellis, a guy that works as a unbelievable defender on that Kings team. The offense comes and goes. Like, is that a similar, like not even pathway, but like where Bronny can work to?
Well, Keon Ellis was a 36 or so % shooter at Alabama when he was there on a pretty good Alabama team. And Keon's a bigger, lengthier body than Bronny. Bronny resembled up close and personal. He resembled like a bigger cornerback or a smaller safety of like an NFL or a cornerback and like a high level college cornerback body. Keon Ellis very much looks like, hey, that guy's a very wiry, defensively oriented basketball player. Just in terms of appearance, I saw him up close and personal. I work for the Jazz, for those of you who don't know. And so I watch shoot-arounds a lot, and Keon Ellis has got this like prototypical length. And I watched him a bunch at Alabama. In fact, I actually saw him play at Alabama when I went to March Madness, and he, despite his lack of shooting at the NBA level, was a decent shooter in college, and his length is the difference. I think he's just kind of a longer body, so that's why I would say he's more of a Davion Mitchell of the Kings, or someone who'd have to just kind of fully adhere to tenacity, but I think he could be a better shooter than Davion Mitchell. That said, I think Mitchell had better point guard qualities while he was at Baylor than Bronny demonstrated at USC. No
more Bronny talk. We're going to go on to some other prospects. But today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. With BetterHelp, it's therapy, but we all know that there are certain different things that therapy can be useful for. We have different stresses in our life, big or small. It might be something that happens with our sport team. It might be our team's GM taking Davion Mitchell in the top 10 of a draft when he was already 35 years of age and couldn't shoot. Who knows? Things can get to us at any point. And finding an unbiased way to get things off our chest, well, that's part of what therapy can do. It's a safe space to get those things out and figure out a way to work through whatever it is that is weighing you down. So if you've been thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You fill out a questionnaire, they match you with a therapist. If that doesn't work out and you don't like your therapist, which honestly happens all the time, you just request a new one and they change it over for you free of charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.